Welcome back to the Brrrr Investor Podcast, where our mission is to empower aspiring real estate investors in their journey towards building generational wealth.
Today, we're extremely honored to welcome Nate Hare, the Executive Director at Directed IRA and a distinguished figure in the self-directed IRA industry. With a decade of experience, Nate has made his mark as an executive, educator, and sought-after public speaker in the realm of self-directed retirement investments. Holding the esteemed title of CISP, a Certified IRA Service Professional, Nate also brings to the table his expertise as a licensed loan officer, coupled with extensive experience in real estate and business development. Since beginning his journey as a real estate investor in 2002 and stepping into private lending in 2014, Nate has personally overseen thousands of investments spanning real estate, promissory notes, private equity, and more. His profound knowledge on self-direction has not only led him to contribute to notable platforms like US News and World Report and Fox Morning News, but also to share his insights at hundreds of conferences, webinars, and podcasts nationwide. In recognition of his impact and contribution to the financial sector, Nate was named to the top 100 people in finance by Top 100 magazine in 2019. Today, he's here to unpack the complexities of self-directed IRAs and share his wealth of knowledge with us. Nate, it's a privilege to have you here on this podcast. We're eager to dive into the insights you have to share with us.
Well, thanks for having me. That makes me sound very busy.
There's a lot to say. There's a lot of accomplishments. So we do appreciate you taking the time and coming out here.
I'm glad to be here.
For sure. So tell us a little bit about, self-directed IRA. Who are you guys and what do you guys do?
So I work at a company called Directed IRA. All that really means is we are a IRA custodian, much like a Fidelity or Charles Schwab. We just hold different types of assets.
Perfect. Okay. And for our listeners who are, new to this concept, can you explain what a self-directed IRA is and how it differs from traditional retirement accounts?
Sure. And there's a lot of misconceptions as to what self-direction is. And really, when you say self-directed IRA, self-direct is just a marketing term. It really means nothing. It's not a type of IRA. It's not a special retirement account that fits a different set of rules. It's just a marketing term that signifies when you have an IRA with us, we don't have investments to sell. So the term can be used very loosely, but we call it self-directed because we truly find it self-directed because our clients have to find investments. We don't have investments to sell them.
Okay, very cool. And what are the types of investments that can be made with a self-directed IRA that are typically not possible with, other IRAs?
So when you look at the IRS code, if you're going to think about what do I want to invest in with my retirement account, and this goes for IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, the rules are all pretty much the same. So it's pretty wide open. The IRS does not care what we invest in besides those two things, life insurance, contracts, and collectibles. Anything else is fair game.
So you guys are like that vehicle that allows them to invest in these alternative assets like you mentioned.
Correct. Anytime you buy an investment through your retirement account, you have to buy it through the custodian of the account.
Oh, correct.
Like a Fidelity or Charles Schwab. We just act as the custodian of the account. So we're going to still buy the investment, whatever the investment is. We'll still buy it as your IRA's custodian, but you have to tell us what that investment is if you're a client of ours.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question, like in your opinion, and this may vary from person to person or the age groups, like what's the ideal retirement account to have to grow and maximize from a tax perspective?
That's a great question. So I'll break it down as there's really two types of IRAs you can have without getting too deep into each individual account. But there's accounts that grow tax deferred, and then there's accounts that grow tax free. Your tax deferred accounts are like your traditional IRA or your SEP IRA, where you put money in as a contribution, you get a tax deduction, but that money grows tax deferred, meaning you'll pay the tax when you take the money back out.
Okay.
But I would probably say if you're going to take small amounts of money and grow larger, the Roth IRA is definitely going to be your best friend. And if you're starting out at a young age and you've got a lot of time to invest, I would say you definitely want to look seriously at a Roth IRA versus any other account.
Okay. So that, kind of ties with the next question I had is like, if we take an example of someone in their 30s, someone in their 50s, because, our audience is a mix of age groups, what would it look like? Is there a different approach that one younger person than a person in their 50s should take when, wanting to start that? Let's say they have a Fidelity account, right? Mm-hmm. They want to liquidate that. They want to roll it over. into your company. How would you recommend them going about that if they want to become a lender or they want to become a passive investor and lend that money to an investor like myself?
So I would say, regardless of your age, the thing I think is the most important as to deciding which account you want to self-direct, whether it's traditional or Roth, is what's the investment going to be? When I know going into the investment, I'm going to make double-digit returns, regardless of my age, I'm going to want to do that investment in a Roth IRA.
Okay.
And preferably maybe even compound my interest doing some, creative short-term notes. So I think it surpasses age. I think it just depends on what you're investing in. But as you get older, if you're in your 50s and you don't have a Roth IRA and you're looking to establish yourself to have some tax-free wealth in retirement, I think it's even more important that you look at a Roth IRA.
Got it. Okay. Now, I'm sure, you've done it for so long and you've helped so many people with this situation. You've seen unfortunate stories. You've probably heard about unfortunate situations. So how should someone deal with missed payments or foreclosures, like a foreclosure process? What would you advise our listeners when it comes to that?
So if you're going to be a lender with your IRA, which is a very common thing for people to do, because there's a couple different reasons people like to lend out of their IRA. It's passive. You don't have to deal with toilets and tenants.
Yeah.
But one thing I will always remind people, especially when it's self-directed, is the first thing you got to make sure is you got to do your due diligence. But if that investor misses a payment, this is actually a great thing to talk about, because I would say the first step in any foreclosure is you just have to take action. And a lot of times that action is just notifying the borrower that you noticed that they missed a payment.
Okay. And can you discuss, a little bit about the regulatory considerations or compliance aspects that are crucial for managing a self-directed IRA?
Yeah, so I would say the first thing that anybody should know is that you have, like I mentioned earlier, you have to work through a custodian to facilitate the buying and the selling of whatever investment that you have. It's a very, very low paper investment. The only thing that's required is just to give us the valuation at the end of the year, but everything else is just flowed back to the IRA completely tax exempt. No tax return, no nothing.
So in other words, I partner up with my IRA, for example, use some of the retirement account, and then I put a portion in, and then so we're partners and I'm a certain percentage, whatever the income has to be split up accordingly, right? So treat it like it's a separate entity basically.
So it can be 50-50. It doesn't have to start 50-50. But if I'm 60-40 partnered with my IRA, I got to make sure I split expenses and income 60-40 at the same time.
Now let's talk about, some success stories. I'm sure you've heard of some really good success stories that, our audience would like to, hear about. Can you share a little bit about, a story that somebody that used self-directed IRA to invest some of the retirement and then, to have a huge impact on their portfolio?
Yeah, so I have a lot of success stories. I have, one client that I'd like to talk about that had a $70,000 traditional IRA.
So for beginners in the realm of self-directed IRAs, what fundamental advice would you offer to help them, start on the right foot, basically?
Just look into it, educate yourself. Self-direction is not for everybody, but I would say if you're entrepreneurial enough, if you're somebody that thinks they can grow their money faster, better, safer than what the financial advisor can do based on your experience level, just look into it. We've got a ton of education at Directed IRA. So I would tell anybody, just go to our website, directedira.com. We've got a Learn tab. Our Learn tab includes webinars, workshops, podcasts. For us, it's important to educate people about how they work, because since we don't sell investments, we at least need to tell people, here's how it works and here's what to expect, because there's a little bit of a learning curve if somebody hasn't done it for the first time. So I would just say anybody that's interested in it, educate yourself, go to directedira.com. Don't get scared about the unknown. A lot of times I tell people, do your first investment, even if it's a small one, even if it's a small crypto purchase, at least get familiar with how the process works and maybe graduate toward, buying a rental property, doing a promissory note in your IRA. But education is key. The more you know, the easier it becomes.
Definitely. So it sounds like, if somebody does have a retirement account with Fidelity or something and they want to take the first step is reaching out to you guys, and you guys can guide them, hold their hand through the process and set things up for them.
Yeah, you can book a call with one of our IRA executives. We've got a dozen of them, including myself. Talk to them. Again, educate yourself, but just know that you have more options when it comes to your retirement assets. And truthfully, most of our clients, they invest in both traditional and alternative assets. They don't just do one or the other. Most of our clients have an IRA at Fidelity, but they also have an IRA at Directed IRA because they want the ability to invest in all sorts of things so they can diversify themselves. And there's no limit on how many IRAs you can have. You can have as many as you want.
So great. I do appreciate that. So if any of you want to get started, reach out to them. We're going to have in the comment section below how you can reach out to Nate and his team. We're also going to drop a discount code below as well. So check that out so you can get $100 of setting up your account.
Yeah, we got a special discount for anybody that comes through or watches does this, just use that coupon code PEAK100 and you get $100 off any account that you establish with directed IRA.
Well, Nate, thank you so much for the time, man. I appreciate you coming down here and sharing all this information.
Anytime. It's been great.
Thank you all for joining us on the Brrrr Investor Podcast. If you found today's episode helpful, please hit like and subscribe to our channel for more real estate insights. We love hearing from you, so please leave your thoughts, questions, or topics you'd like us to cover in the comment section below. Be sure to check out our website, thebrrrinvestor.com, and follow us on social media at The Brrrr Investor. Keep learning and investing, and we'll see you in the next episode. I'm your host, Alex Nale. Stay invested.